I worked in Germany. I worked in Germany and I worked in India. So I've seen the public sector, and I've also worked in the education sector, and kind of it's I'm doing this out of my passion to let everybody know what project management is. I'm sure Professor would have talked about it all the much in the class. I would not repeat that, but I just wanted to highlight some of the things I have observed in my career as a professional and also as a student. I've sat in a project management class and heard other classmates say some things which kind of stuck to me, and that's what kind of made me take get into the academic outreach area, which I'll tell you in a minute why. So to start with, I have a small presentation to share with all of you, but feel free to stop me and ask me questions whenever you have it. I want to keep it as interactive as possible. I don't want to make it look like a one-way presentation, so feel free and stop me and ask anytime you have a question. So you know about project management. I'm sure Professor would have already touched based on it. It's the art of making things happen. So be it a small thing or be it your career goal or anything which is a temporary thing to achieve is a project. So project management kinds of puts everything into a sort of a guideline on how best to make things happen. And PMI, as you know, Project Management Institute, is founded by a group of project managers who thought that there's no set guidelines for it. So they all came together and started PMI to make sure that there is a proper industry-wide tried and tested guidelines to tell everybody how best can a project be done in different scenarios to achieve success. PMI Chicagoland chapter is the local chapter for PMI. It's one of the biggest chapters in PMI with over 5,000 members and 200 plus volunteers, and which is what I'm part of. Um, So PMI is a very global, PMP, I mean, is a very globally recognized certification. In addition to PMP, PMI has other certifications available as well. And PMI also recently introduced some additional, I won't say certifications, but a toolkits for anybody who's not looking to get certified but still interested to learn project management. Those are PMI Kickoff and PMI Project Management Ready. So these are some very entry level training, I would say, basic training into project management, in case if you're not looking into project management as a career and get certified in PMP or CAPM. These two are going to be a good start. Why, you would ask? uh, Project management is not something is only required by a certain profession or by a certain industry. This is a overall, like it's kind of like a horizontal where you can apply the project management principles across the board, be it in construction, be it in pharmaceuticals, be it in education sector. Anywhere you go, you can apply project management. Also, in addition to your professional career, you can also use it in your personal life, kind of managing your own projects, managing even kind of planning for a wedding itself is a project. Many of the students I meet say that they have used planning wedding as one of the project experience in getting PMP certification, and PMI did accept that as a valid experience, because they look at it as something you have done right from planning, starting to end until you close the event. If you are part of it, you have done your part in doing all those areas. it's considered a project on its own. So so that's why I keep saying just knowing project management doesn't need to be only as your professional need. It would help greatly in all the things in your personal life, and in addition to your professional career as well. I was telling you in the starting why I was very interested in getting academic outreach was that when I was in college, in my project management class, to say that I am not looking to become a project manager. I don't want to be in that area. I'm not into management. I want to go do coding. I want to go into production. So I don't really need to learn this. And that's where it kind of touched to me, is that this is something you be part of a project throughout your professional career. And even if you're not planning to be a project manager, believe me, most of the project managers in PMI, we call ourselves accidental project managers. We never aspired to be project managers. We never aspired to be where situationally we had to step up in different ways. In my situation, my project manager had to leave, so I had to step up to save the project and save the day. I had to step up and get into the project management and run the project. And if I had not studied this, or if I had not known the basic principles of it, I wouldn't have been successful in this. So that's what I say, tell everyone, just do not think that you are never going to be a project manager. And even if even if you're not going to be in kind of IT, you in any different industry, um, in any part professionally or personally, it's gonna be very useful for you at some point in time. So being said that, there are different ways PMI wants to teach everybody what basic principles are for a project management. And as I said, there are PMI kickoff on project management ready, or some very basic trainings. And if you are really interested after going through them, if you are really interested into making project management as your career field, there are other certifications which you can take from PMI, which would help boost your profile, and also teach you very in-depth project management principles. So the first certification is CAPM. It's an entry-level certification. You don't need a college degree for it. And the main difference between PMP and CAPM, PMP needs an experience. So they say around 3,500 or 4,500 hours of project experience. It comes out if you take eight hours a day calculation. That's the main difference between PMP and CAPM. And PMP mostly tests the situational awareness of projects. That's why they need experience, is that they don't want to test your book knowledge. Anybody could read through a book and complete the CAPM project, and that's an entry level. So that's where they do not put that requirement to give somebody a certification showcasing that they have the book knowledge of PMBOK. But PMP teach of the PMBOK, where in those 3 years, what have you learned? Because PMBOK is a guideline, as I said. It's not to say that you have to do this, you have to do only like this in this situation, but it teaches you, and it teaches you how you should react in a certain situation, and how you can make best use of the resources available to you based on the situation you are in. And it tests that knowledge of your situational reaction and situational awareness. And that's where PMP and CAPM kind of differs. And there are other certifications when you go a high portfolio management, risk management, all that goes after PMP certification. So once you get to it, you know more information of the additional certifications. Okay. So I know this question keeps coming up a lot. Why should I get certified? Because similar to the college degree, anything you learn, you need to showcase that you have completely understood it and go through that certification process. And having that certificate actually showcases your confidence and your knowledge in that practice. So potential employers would be happy to see a certification from a recognized and renowned organization in the world to showcase that you are actually serious in that field and you know what you are talking about. So you get better salary prospects, and also you get more highlights in your resume than when compared to others who doesn't have the certification. So the career path in PM and project management looks like this. So you start from a project coordinator and move into project management. After that, it becomes program management, which is a collection of projects, and then it goes into a portfolio management, which is a collection of programs. So there are additional certifications in program and portfolio management, but that usually are for people who's worked in project management for a lengthy period and then wants to move up in the management ladder to program and portfolio management. Any questions so far? No?
So I have one question. So for program management, is it must to have the PMP, or one can directly
Sure.
go for program management certification?
It's not a must, but program management and portfolio usually requires way more experience than PMP. So it's very rarely that anybody who's not into project management will directly go into program or portfolio. But if you have certain number of years of experience in your career field and you are ready to do the jump, usually you can do it. It's not impossible to do that, but it's not mandatory to have a PMP. But usually everybody goes through this career path. They start in certain capacity in project management and get the certification, and after like 5 years, 10 years, when they want to move up in the ladder into program management, then they go into the rest of the career ladder.
So what is the minimum experience required, or what is the experience required to get a program management certification?
Program management, I am not really sure because we usually go to the universities with students who's only in the career field. These are the main certifications we recommend for them. But on the PMI Chicagoland certification, or PMI.org, there is a detailed explanation of the requirements for program and portfolio management.
Okay, thank you.
One more question on the 36 hours of
Sure.
I think it's training or something. Is that 35 hours of is that something that is offered through PMI, or is that like a third party? You have to do like a week's worth of training. How does that work?
PMI keeps it very open. Sometimes even your university classes, if they cover the 35 hours of PMBOK education, they even consider that as a sufficient requirement for the 35 hours. So not just the PMI training, there are other online trainings like Udemy or all these online things. They also provide 35 hours of video courses if your university credits fall short of those 35 hours. If not, if those 35 hours can be covered in your university classes, that itself is more than enough to satisfy that requirement.
Gotcha. So Mark, does the project management course that you offer cover that requirement?
So we don't teach the PMBOK per se. We use a more traditional project management and portfolio management textbook. We do have 30 hours of contact time with the students. So I think I'll leave it to the PMI to decide if my course, otherwise known as MEM 426, would be qualified. I mean, you can certainly submit the syllabus and let them decide. But I mean, 30 out of 35 is about the most you can expect out of my class. We meet for 10 weeks for 3 hours a week. So.
Thank you.
So it depends, like you can submit it to PMI and they usually checks all those submissions when you are applying for the certification. Okay, and one another interesting insight in getting the certification is also the difference in salaries offered to employees with and without certification. So this is the actual project management salary survey, which came out, I think, about last year, where they showcase the difference in the salary ranges for a similar candidate who's having a no certification compared to somebody who's having certification with that number of years of experience. So that itself also is one of the reasons to look into getting certifications, because I think having much better salary prospects is one of, I think, everybody's career goals. Not just the one, but I would say it's I think one of them. I also wanted to showcase some videos from students' perspective, how they have utilized project management in their class projects, in their universities, and that gives a good indicator of how everybody can make use of project management, not just in their professional careers, but also from their academic time. I don't know if, can you hear the sound? Yeah, okay.
I'm a student at Penn State University, and I'm the project manager of the Advanced Vehicle team. Studying project management helps me vastly with my career goals. As an aerospace engineer at Penn State University, I'm exposed to different projects and different aspects of projects. So as a project manager, I get to see not only the business side of the project, but also the communications and the technical aspects of it. My project management skills will enhance my value as an employee because I'm able to diversify myself and see different aspects of a company. I'm able to lend a hand if I can in the business department or the communications department. I'm able to make decisions that will benefit the company as a whole and not just a specific goal of the company. Currently, I am a student member of PMI because of the project management congress that's currently going on. However, being here and interacting with the individuals and professionals that I've met, I will definitely take my experience back to Penn State and continue my student membership as I move forward. The PMI local chapter benefits the advanced vehicle team at Penn State because we're able to prime additional leaders within our organization. We can take our engineering manager or our communications manager and have them exposed to the leadership world, have them exposed to speaking in public, and just networking. I'm Devendra Chatterpal. I'm a future PMP.
Okay, I have one more video where after which I'll talk more in detail about the chapter membership benefits, on what you can get out of the chapter membership, and let me go
I'm a student at Penn
Oh.
State University, and I'm the project manager.
Sorry, I think so, okay. Yeah, didn't realize it's playing the same video.
There's actually so many jobs available in the market, but what organizations are facing nowadays is that there's labor abundance, but talent shortage. In fact, according to the Anderson Economic Group, there are 1.5 million project management jobs available in the world every year. The unique thing about the project management as a career is that it is a niche in its own, and you can apply all your other business skills towards it. So you can use your marketing skills, your finance, and I love it because it's unique. And as a project manager, you can work on so many different projects, face challenges, and each of your work days is really different and helps you grow your career further.
I've been interested for the past couple of years in doing the certification for myself, and I actually started the process over the summer, and I'm hoping to finish it before I graduate. It has been a tremendous opportunity and a tremendous skill set for me to have in my life, and it's transferred to other areas, not just my schoolwork, but personal life as well, and it has opened up several doors for me.
Studying project management helps me vastly with my career goals. As an aerospace engineer at Penn State University, I'm exposed to different projects and different aspects of projects. So as a project manager, I get to see not only the business side of the project, but also the communications and the technical aspect of it.
I know our students this year have been involved with our PMI chapter and attended some of the meetings, and really beneficial to hear projects that they're talking about and to see it really happen in the real world. And then also partnering up with perhaps a project management mentor that can kind of tell you what it is and how things go is a great way to get connected with the industry.
Students or young professionals might think that they cannot find the right job because organizations are not hiring. This is actually not true. Organizations are hiring, but they're looking for talent. You have to go outside of your box and start applying what you have learned in the classroom into the real life, so you can get one of the jobs you always wanted.
Okay, so yeah, so they have talked a lot about the resources. I think almost all the points which we covered are valid and are really beneficial when you look at various different opportunities you can find in having a membership. It's not just from the cost perspective. For a full-time student, actually, the Chicagoland chapter membership is nothing. I think it's $5 or $6 for a full-time students. So cost is not at all a factor in it compared to the value everybody is gonna get, because it's unparalleled value. So there are student bundles, and when you want to take the certifications, and not just that, there is a career website. In fact, we recently interviewed one of the person who applied through the PMI career website. So they do actually go look in there and apply for it. And also employers do post the real jobs who's ready to take students in those career websites. And also some of the points they mentioned about mentoring is also one of the great value in it, that you have so many industry veterans in the Chicagoland chapter. It helps greatly in your networking. No, and also get mentoring help from those industry leaders to in whatever area you are interested in. I'm sure mostly you can find industry veterans in those areas in the Chicagoland chapter, and all of us do this out of our passion towards the profession. We volunteer our time, and that's what makes it unique, is that we love doing it. We love helping out students in gaining knowledge, plus also to see them succeed in their professional career goals. And Chicagoland chapter offers all those things we saw in the video: networking opportunities. You can join the meetings, monthly meetings, and greatly improve your networking. And also there are study groups where you can partner with other students and individuals who's taking the certification if you are interested in it, and also mentoring and job fairs. So a lot of job fairs and symposiums and workshops happen throughout the semester and year. And volunteer opportunities is also great, that if you feel that you have gained so much which you would like to give back to the community, you can get back and give back to the community and help similar students who's in your situation in the past, and show them the right way and resources so that they can also succeed the way you would be using all these resources. So that's about it. I know I have one more video. I don't want to show all the videos and bore any of you anymore. So I think I've talked much about benefits, because they are a lot. There are a lot of benefits. Cost is never even a consideration for it, because it's nothing. It's kind of like 2 cups of Starbucks coffee. And for students, that's the best part, is if you are a full-time student, you do get all those benefits, because that's what PMI wants, is to advance the career, advance the profession, and they don't want to put cost as a barrier for students. That's why they put it at the very minimal level compared to everybody else. So any questions you guys have, you can ask me now. Even if not, if you don't think of it in future, that's my email address. It's dir@academicoutreach@pmichicagoland.org. Even if it's not me, somebody in that position who might take over from me in future would certainly be happy to answer any of your questions and navigate you through the chapter or PMI if in case any of you needs any help. Because as I said, it's out of our passion we do it, so we certainly would love to help any and all of you if needed. So any questions you have, feel free to ask me now. If not, even if you want to do it privately, just you can directly drop an email to me in that email address. You can connect with me on LinkedIn as well, in case you want to connect in there.
Would you be okay if I shared your email address with the students?
Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead, share it with them. Any questions related to PMI or PMP or chapter volunteers, anything, just shoot us an email. We'll be more than happy to answer them.
So any questions from the audience?
I see there is something in the chat. Okay. Oh, sorry. I just saw that. Any questions right now?
Yeah, so I'm Rendra. So I have one question is like you mentioned 3 requirements for PMP. So other than that, like what, there will be exams or how the PMP certification? Can you
Yeah.
do you have anything to walk through the process to get PMP certified? Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. So other than that college degree and 36 months of project experience. So when I say 36 months of project experience, it doesn't need to be that you are in a project manager position, but you just need to be part of a project from beginning till end. What PMI makes you do is it'll ask you to explain the process, the project and your involvement in it very briefly. So you should be able to showcase your involvement in the project from beginning till ending. So you do not need to be a project manager in it. And plus the 35 hours of professional education. So once you go through that, there will be an application process where you submit it to the PMI, and randomly they do audit checks on those applications. So if your application is accepted, they will let you know. If not, if they want to audit your experience and the hours of education you put in, they send you all the things they are looking for, maybe like a transcript if it's university, or if not, like a participation certificate or something for the education. And mostly for the 36 months of experience, they would want somebody to attest, like a project manager or a leader who you worked with in that project you put in there. They would ask like a letter, hard written letter from them to be sent. And once everything gets accepted, you can schedule your test, which will be like a 200 question 4-hour test. So as I said, PMP test is a little bit different. It's it's not based on the book questions. Like the questions won't be a straightforward one. They would be lengthy explanation of a situation, and the options, usually all 4 options seem to be the right one, because you can actually achieve the outcome from either 4 options. But that's where your 36 months of experience kicks in, plus your knowledge about PMBOK also kicks in. Is that using those two, what's the best course of action in that situation? So there will only be one best course of action which will give you the best results in that situation, and that's how they test and check the knowledge. And that's why PMP is considered one of the difficult certifications. It's not an easy one to pass. So that's why there's a great value for that certification, because it's not just something you can read in a day or a weekend and pass. It's months of preparation. Like it took me nearly 3 to 4 months of preparation every day to be able to pass that certification. So why I'm stressing on that is that sometimes like the level of difficulty shows how prestigious that certification is once you get through it. It's not an impossible one, for sure. Everybody with proper education and experience should be able to complete that, but that's the process. So once you finish the certification, you are good for 3 years. And every 3 years you have to renew the certification. What you have to do is you have to get PDUs, the professional development units. So you can gather 60 PDUs. You have to gather 60 PDUs every 3 years. That can be either by taking some courses, or by teaching, or by volunteering. So there are different number of PDUs for each action you do. For teaching a certain PDU, so all of them will show up in your dashboard. You can submit to PMI, and they will either approve or let you know what needs to be done with it. But you have to gather those 60 PDUs every 3 years to keep yourself updated, because PMI believes in project management is not a one-time learn thing. You have to keep yourself updated with the industry trends or all the changes that keeps happening in the industry. Similarly, the PMBOK, they keep updating PMBOK because industry keeps changing. As you know, I don't know if you heard of waterfall. waterfall is kind of becoming a obsolete or least used one, and more and more people are moving towards agile. So PMI keeps updating their PMBOK with the latest industry trends, and that's the reason for PMI also to keep the certification on a renewal basis, so that everybody is kind of keeping them up to date on the industry trends. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's very much it. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, any other questions for Mangaya? I know some folks have to leave to get to class. We have classes at 6:30 in MEM. But anyone who has questions, now's the time. Otherwise, I will post some email addresses for Mangaya, unless you want to share it now, Mangaya.
Yeah. So I can put it in chat as well. So any question you guys have after this presentation, outside this presentation, you can directly reach out to me on this email address. But okay, so because this is a volunteer position, we usually cannot respond quickly. We try to do it as fast as possible, but at least give us like a couple of business days, usually, because we do check the emails in the evenings. But we will surely and certainly get back to you with your question. So I put my email address. Oh, sorry, I think I did the direct message one, private message. So let me change it to everyone, everyone in the meeting. Okay. So yeah, so I sent that message to everyone now. Okay, so I see one question, if there are any books we can refer for PMP preparation. That's a good question. So there are different books for PMP preparation. That's what PMP certification is, a very open book one. They don't have a specific syllabus, but PMBOK is the PMI's PMBOK is the good start for it, but that alone might not help you because it's a very dry, believe me, it's a very dry and plain explanation of things. They do not make it very interesting, so they'll only directly straightforward talk about the subject. But personally, I followed Rita Mulsheni. So her guide on PMBOK, I kind of personally liked it because of the way she explains everything, or she's not there anymore. Her organization keeps it updated. So there are a lot of other PMBOK guides out there. I have not gone through some of them, but personally, I would say PMBOK plus Rita Mulcheni guide, I think, should help get through the PMP certification. Professor Shore might have other great references for the PMP certification. So Professor also can suggest what's the good book he thinks there is.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, the PMBOK itself is obviously dry, but it's definitely valuable for the exam.
Oh, it is for sure. You have to go through that. Yeah.
And for the 7th edition, which I guess just came out, I believe, last year. So if you have the 6th edition, I'm not sure when the test shifts over to the 7th edition. Do you know?
They have not announced it yet. They keep saying they will announce soon. It was supposed to be March 1st, but they backed off, I think, mainly due to pandemic. But they said they will give ample time for everybody once they make a decision.
So that's another thing to keep in mind. When you take the exam, it's specific to a specific version of the PMBOK. So sitting today or tomorrow for the exam would probably be the 6th edition.
Right.
If you wait until the summer, my guess is that'll be the 7th edition, right?
Yeah, could be. So I usually tell everyone that if you are planning to take it, do it in the current edition, because all the information, material, resources out there are current to the current edition, 6th edition, which is what currently going on. So when the 7th edition comes up, people kind of takes time to update it to the version. So you will need to wait a little bit time to get more help in getting some resources, but it's I think it's within a couple of months, everybody will refresh to the latest edition, and you should be able to find resources for that as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And for MEM students, I think you can reach out to alum of MEM who have become PMPs. You can simply go onto LinkedIn to our group, ask who's a PMP and what advice they would give you. Maybe you can buy them a cup of coffee and they'll tell you, hey, study this really hard. You don't have to study something else maybe as quite as hard. They'll let you know what's important, what's not important. I do remember when I took the exam, it was what, couple hours, several hours, sit down, mostly multiple choice. It was a tough threshold, frankly, and some people who failed, they are allowed to come back and take it again. But frankly, if you can avoid it, don't take it twice. It's a tough exam. So get ready for it, make sure you're prepared. And then once you do get your PMP, to keep it alive, you need to keep your PDUs going. So keep an eye on that, keep your membership current, and stay involved with the PMI. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, yeah. And make use of all the resources with your local chapters. So a lot of people made use of it and landed in great jobs because any professional organization keeping in connection with PMI, they are really interested in hiring students and volunteers and members. So it's a great resource, not just to learn, but also to get networking and get certifications.
Also, whatever industry you're in, whatever industry you're interested in working in, check for the types of jobs you're looking to acquire and see if PMP is a requirement. In many cases, it is. Now, specifically, government work, work in certain types of regulated industries, nuclear industry, for example, construction, lots of industries who require PMP. Others that may prefer it, but they don't require it. So just keep an eye out for that. Right.
Yeah, and some of them may put some conditions in the employment saying that within the first 1 year, you might need to get it. If it's kind of like an entry-level position, like a project coordinator, that's what we did recently when we hired a project coordinator. We know that person is really good and interested in doing it, but we didn't want not having a certification as a deterrence. So that's what we did, is that we put it as a condition that within the first 1 year of employment, they have to get the certification.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I think we've run out of time. I want to thank you, Mangaya, for your great presentation. This video has been recorded. I will store it on the Northwestern MEM YouTube channel. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. We have a lot of great videos, but I think we'll just add that to the list. And if you have any questions, you've got Mangaya's email, so feel free to send it to him. Otherwise, I want to thank you, Mangaya, and thank you all for attending. I think we've already lost some of our attendance because of the late hour. So thank you all and have a good rest of the day.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. Thank you for the opportunity. It's really
good to have you. Good to have you, and say hi to all of our friends at the PMI Chicago chapter.
I will. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good evening, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.